It's time for TWiT This Week in Tech. We've got Ben Parr from Mashable here to talk about asking Zuck the question. We've got Mark Milian from CNN. He saw it all on YouTube. Ray Slakinski, my old friend and pirate, joins us to explain what the kids are doing these days in college. And Dwight Silverman will talk about the early days of the space program. It's all coming up next on TWiT.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Audio bandwidth for This Week in Tech is provided by the new Winamp for Android, featuring wireless sync and one-click iTunes import. Now with free daily music downloads and full-length CD listening parties. Download it for free at winamp.com/Android. Video bandwidth for TWiT is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com. This is TWiT, This Week in Tech, episode 309, recorded July 10th, 2011. Dances with Zuck. This Week in Tech is brought to you by Go to Assist Express. If you're in tech support, solve problems fast with a leader in remote support software. Go to Assist Express. For a free 30-day trial, visit gotoassist.com/TWiT. And by Carbonite. Backing up the files on your PC or Mac is safe and easy with Carbonite. For a free trial plus 2 free months with purchase, go to carbonite.com and use the offer code TWiT. And by FreshBooks, the easy online invoicing service that gets you paid quickly and makes you look more professional. Get started with a free package at freshbooks.com. It's time for TWiT This Week in Tech, a massive cast joining us today. In fact, I imagine the cast will get larger and larger as we get closer and closer to our new studio. Lots of people coming from all around to visit, to see the new studio in action, and to pay a farewell to the old cottage. Joining us for the first time, I think, on TWiT, Ben Parr from Mashable. Great to have you, Ben.
Glad to be here.
Welcome. You were a celebrity this week. In the
If that's
Facebook.
your definition of one.
Yes, in the Facebook. That was really cool. That was really cool. We'll talk about that in a second. Also joining us kind of, well, it isn't a surprise because you told me you were coming here, but I just forgot to bake a cake. Mr. Ray Slakinski, who is an old friend. Ray did the first really good podcast program called iPod RX.
Thank you.
With August Trumpeter, and that's when we first met up in Toronto.
Yep.
And he is now working for High Def, which is the Flavors.me company.
Yep.
And where do you do? Are you still in Toronto?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm working from home, and
You're here for
pretty
the
much a
Cassandra
remote-
conference.
Yes.
That's a no SQL variant,
Right.
which means what?
Oh,
That's all right. Never mind. Thanks
yes,
a lot.
exactly.
Good to see you once again.
It's a database.
It's a database.
It's a database.
But it doesn't do. Can't do queries. It's flat. It's not relational.
Things have changed since I came up with that term. Now I can do queries.
Oh.
Yeah, so really nothing's
There's
changed.
no. It's just.
Yeah.
Eventually, it'll be just like SQL.
It automatically shards for me, and that's really my big thing that I like.
Automatically what?
Shards. It separates the data across multiple servers.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Also joining us, Mr. Mark Milian from CNN.
How's it going, Leo?
Great to have you back, Mark.
Thank you for having me.
That's a lovely studio you're in.
Oh,
like the
yeah,
plant.
it's the
I like the
glory of the
plant.
Time Inc. office. Got a plant that I stole from the lobby of the office here.
Did you actually just I need to have it in here for TWiT?
Yeah, every time I'm on TV, they say, you
need a plant.
It's like crap. Yeah, you need to spice it up a little bit. So that's what I do.
Yeah.
I take the plant from the lobby.
It looks like his hair. It's the exact same shape.
Feed me, Milian. Also joining us from Houston, Texas, the Houston Chronicle, our good friend Dwight Silverman, blog.cron.com/techblog. Hey, Dwight, great to have you.
Hey, Leo, how you doing? Nice to see
I
you.
know you were excited to talk about the Atlantis this week, and look who we've brought into play with us today, a guy who was actually at the launch, Trey Ratcliff, our favorite photographer, stuckincustoms.com. Hi, Trey.
Hello, Leo. Hello, everybody.
It's good to see you. You just got back like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I just got back from Cape Canaveral, and I haven't even unpacked everything. But, yeah, I'm still all vibrating from the excitement.
You know, it's funny because we rebroadcast the feed from spacevidcast.com. They do such a great job. They did. It was kind of reminding me of the old days of Walter Cronkite sitting in the tent and watching the launch and everything. And they invited me to go. And you know why I didn't go? And I could have gone. I thought, oh, I'll go, and they won't launch. You know, because the last one they launched a bunch. You know, 4 weeks later, whatever. I said, I'll go, and of course, what do? They've got a weather hold. Oh, let's launch! Boom. So
yeah. It went off, and you know, Scoble was there too, and he was thinking the same thing. It's not going to go off because I'm here. I'm like, try to be optimistic, Scoble. It might go off.
This is actually your second shuttle launch. You were there last time too.
Yeah, I was there for STS-134. That's kind of their code system. That was Endeavor. It was scrubbed the first time. Then I went back again, and then I went for the final launch, and it was really magical.
The last shuttle, although you know, and I'm sure people didn't talk about this at the time, but I mean, there was generally the feeling that the shuttle was mostly theater, not so much really about space exploration. In fact, Esther Dyson called it the end of the beginning. She's of the opinion that now we get serious about space exploration.
Well, I think we're going to see so much private stuff that starts to really go off, and that's pretty exciting because you know, the idea that the government doesn't have to do it, that whole notion is so exhilarating. I think we're going to see amazing stuff now.
Trey took a great shot of the. This is the night before, wasn't it?
Yeah, I felt lucky. I got an escort, and I was one of the last people to be there for its kind of final night on Earth. And I felt like I shared a little personal moment with it, and it was really a nice little evening there.
Now, have you started reviewing your pictures from the launch?
Yeah, I've gone through a few of them. It takes a while for me, you know, because I want to make sure that I have to be careful what I post because I want to make sure it's really high quality. You know, Robert was able to go post one immediately, like 3 minutes after the launch.
Yeah, because he's not a
pro. No, he still got a good shot though. But yeah, it was amazing because the thing is that, you know, you're sitting there, we're in the press area, we're 3.1 miles away, we're as close as they really let you get, and you know it's going to be loud. And it goes up, and then the sound comes across, and it is loud. But then something else happens. There's sort of this kinetic staccato wave that rumbles across the water and slams into your chest and kind of shakes your skeleton and vibrates your soul. And it's sort of this unholy feeling that's rocking through you as you're watching this thing go up. All in the meantime, you're trying to get photos of this thing and capture the feeling of it. So there's so much happening, and there's the emotion. It's the last one, and all of us that are there are such enthusiasts. We're so into it. We're completely impartial. So there's a lot of stuff colliding.
Here's Robert's picture. That was a pretty good picture too, I gotta admit. Pretty cool.
That was a nice description, by the way, Trey. You could
so American.
Poetry.
Yeah, he's very poetic. Trey is. Yeah. Well, so you're glad you were there, obviously.
Yeah, it was great. It was a little nerve-wracking actually having Scoble so close to me because he's, you know, that final 10 minutes, I need to focus on my craft. I've got my multiple cameras and so on and so forth, and he's there. He's kind of like that little thing on Jabba the Hutt that's always laughing. And so I took Scoble a couple 100 yards away from me, and I said, you stand here, Robert, and point at the flag, focus on infinity, F11, F13.
Yeah, this is good, Robert. I'm going to help you get a great picture. Stand over there.
And I said, I'll see you after the launch.
Yeah, I'll see you later, Robert. You're going to get a great shot from right there, Robert. Yeah.
No, he did end up getting a good shot, but it was great. It was great fun.
That's so neat. Well, I can't wait. Now, I donated to the cause. I had actually it was my first DSLR, my Nikon D70, a beloved camera. I took a lot of great pictures with it, but it's been eclipsed by several cameras since, including the 5D Mark II. So you said, well, I could use it. I could put it next to the... So how close to the launch was that D70?
It was a couple 100 feet. You know, you can't stand there, but if you get an escort, you can go out and set up remote cameras. And we set up 2 remote cameras, yours and another one. And the plan was, my storybook vision of this is that your camera would end up as this melted
piece of
husk that we would have to go out and pull out these Nikon jars of light and peel it open and extract out a card that we then take to some CSI chamber to resolve the pixels that might be remaining. But
yeah, that's what you told me would happen. That's not what happened?
Well, it didn't turn out quite so histrionic. Really, your camera is just a little bit damaged, and I haven't gone through all the photos yet, but I don't think we're going to see anything too impressive.
Oh,
but it was there, and
Yeah.
it's probably got a little bit of something on it, and I'll bring it back to the studio. At some
Please,
point.
yeah, we'll put it in a place of honor. I couldn't be at the launch, but at least my camera could be there. So that's pretty cool. So you're glad you went?
Oh yeah, I'm very happy I went.
Bit of history there.
It's nice. It's real nice.
Pretty
Thanks for
amazing.
sending your camera. We had a good time with it. It was just the whole idea of it was really kind of.
I'm just sorry it didn't get melted and destroyed. And oh well. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, you say you like Nikon and Canon equally, yet the Nikon is what you offer up to die in a fiery hellish explosion.
I don't think I've ever said I like Nikon and Canon equally. I am now a full-bore Canon shooter, although as I said, my first DSLR was a Nikon, and I love that D70. You know, the other choice for that, I kind of went back and forth, was to send it up to Washington State and have it turned into an infrared camera. But I think this was a good use for it.
Yes, maybe you still can. It depends on if we can get it fixed or not.
You
It's
don't
on the
have to
edge.
fix it. I don't want it to be fixed. Trey Ratcliff, so great to have you. Thank you for joining us and sharing some first-person observations from the shuttle launch. Atlantis is up there now. In fact, we just watched video of them docking with the International Space Station and the meet and greet as they got on board the ISS. And then the program ends. Actually, I'd like to open this up to the panel. What now? Is it going to be citizen space? Is it going to be privatized? You know, one of the things that NASA wants to do, of course, is focus on manned, unmanned expeditions to Mars and other places. What do you? Let's start with you, Trey, and then I'll let the panel speak.
Well, it's a good question. I think that people do like to get their heads around a big idea, and
It's inspiring.
I'm a little bummed out that NASA hasn't announced something really, really awesome. You know, like the successor to the space shuttle.
Got no money, dude.
I know.
Although NPR
just
just said that the $20 billion that we spend on NASA actually is the same amount of money it took to air condition the troops in Afghanistan and Iraq for 1 year. So, you know, I mean, it sounds like a lot of money, but compared to what we spend money on, it's not a particularly large amount of money.
Well, they're still going to be doing manned space flights. They're just doing it in a different way. They don't have something quite as, you know, as exciting as the space shuttle once was when it was announced. But this, you know, we do live in this sci-fi time where we see amazing inventions right and left, and I think we really want to get excited about sci-fi space travel right now.
That's what I mean. I have to say, when I talk to scientists, the sci-fi is what excites them. They end up doing what they read about the sci-fi. You've got to excite kids. You've got to get them going, and I think a space program is a good way to do it. Ben Parr, what do you think the future of NASA holds?
I actually wrote and did a lot of research for an article that I published this week about the private space race because I was fascinated by everything that's been happening. I really think it is
the X Prize. We've got. I mean, there's
and the X Prize people are amazing people. You have SpaceX, which is Elon Musk's space company, and that's been growing quite substantially. And then you have Virgin Galactic, you know, and Richard Branson, and they're going to be starting those space flights, $200,000 a pop. But they're going to be starting them in the next couple of years.
They're not even, they're suborbital. They're barely into space.
That one is barely into space, but with each successive one, it gets higher and higher. And the thing is, it's, I mean, you had to start off with innovation, I guess, in the public sector because no one else could afford the programs that were needed in the 1960s and such to build rockets to the moon. But now the costs are going down, the technology is getting better, and hopefully what's going to happen is when the private sector really, really hammers it hard, costs are going to go down, and it's going to become more and more accessible.
I know you were really excited about this, Dwight. But you're nearby in Houston. You didn't want to go over to the Cape?
Well, it's a long way from Houston to Cape Canaveral. I didn't go. We sent several of our columnists and bloggers over there, including Eric Berger, our science blogger, who did some excellent work out of there. I'm kind of interested in what's happening here in Houston as a result of the end of the shuttle program. A lot of the support and certainly like mission control is based here, and there's going to be a lot of layoffs. But what's interesting is because Johnson Space Center is here, there has been almost like a Silicon Valley effect. There are a lot of private space operations here, companies that supported NASA as contractors, and now they're going to be off on their own. And my suspicion is that you could see a lot of the innovation taking place from those companies that at one time supported the shuttle program. They're now, in order to survive, are going to have to innovate, and I think it's going to be really interesting around here for the next few years.
And there'll be a lot of aerospace engineers looking for work. So
that's right.
Yeah.
And a lot of those aerospace engineers will start their own companies, and they'll become affiliated with SpaceX or one of the other private companies. And I think you're going to start to see when there are layoffs in Silicon Valley, those people just don't go live in a box under a bridge. They start their own companies, and during layoffs, you actually have a lot of innovation happening. And I think that's what's going to occur here.
It's exciting. I think it's really exciting. But I just hope we don't stop. Mark Milian, you're a young guy. You don't remember, as I do and Dwight does. God, I'll never. I mean, I got up every middle of the night to watch first Mercury, then Gemini, then Apollo. I'll never forget. I'm sure you remember this vividly, Dwight, watching Neil Armstrong walk on the moon.
I sat in front of my parents' television set with a little Iowa reel-to-reel tape recorder holding a microphone up to the speaker, and I still have those tapes of Walter Cronkite wiping a tear up from his eye.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
I watched
it was
on YouTube.
astounding.
You watched on YouTube? That's the there you go. So, but it must excite your generation too, Mark, yes?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually not much of a space guy myself, although I know a lot of people my age are, huge Star Trek and Star Wars fans, which has to have some correlation to being interested in space. I mean, from a further off perspective, I agree with Ben and pretty much everyone else on the panel that it seems like space exploration is at a time where the private sector can take it over, and I think that's kind of been the job of the federal government to shuttle a technology, no pun intended, to shuttle a technology, to a certain extent, like they did with DARPANET before it became, this privatized thing as the internet or with GPS. I think space is at a time where NASA can now focus on deep space exploration, and they can leave it up to private corporations to figure out, moon bases and all that stuff.
I don't know why, but I'm just skeptical that private enterprise is going to be able to do this. It just feels like something a government, or maybe even better, multinational governments should do. I hate for here's one thing I'd hate. I don't want to see a space station with corporate logos on it. I don't want to see our future in space become commercial. Isn't that the risk of doing something like this, Ben?
But the problem that's how the economy churns and how the economy goes. That's how you fund a lot of the different technologies. That's how we fund our medicine. That's how we fund practically
it's worked so well with
else.
Big Pharma, hasn't it?
you get the pros and cons. I agree, but it's better than not going into space at all.
Well, I agree. I hope we do
right?
go into space. It just feels like this is something that it should be supported by a multinational effort. But I guess the ISS is not a huge success. What do you think, Ray?
Well, I grew up purely with the shuttle program, so I was very
You didn't get
sad.
Gemini and Apollo.
No. I remember when the shuttle flew over my school.
Wow.
In the early 80s.
Wow.
Which was a treat. I've never seen a launch, but I've watched pretty much every single one that I could on TV and on the internet when that became available. So I have a strong connection to the shuttle program, but I really hope that we do progress and do something more, because it really feels like it's been stagnant for 10 years. Yeah. We've done all the science experiments multiple times. Right. We need to do something else.
Part of the problem is there's no competition. I mean, the reason for the original space race was the competition.
We're trying to beat the Ruskies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't have anything like that right now. Maybe there will be something like that in a couple of years. It's competition breeds innovation. It
was great. We about a month ago we heard the tapes from JFK's office talking about the space program, and it was very clear that for JFK, it was theater. It wasn't about science. It was about beating the Soviets. He said, "I want to make sure that the money I'm spending here we're gonna beat them, right?" Because it was otherwise no point from his point of view, which is a shame.
He also made it that it had to be completed within his term.
Yeah,
not
it was
these,
political.
4 or 5 terms out,
Right.
which both cases are political, but such short timelines, drives innovation as well.
Right. Well, I think we all agree that we want more space exploration. Maybe not necessarily manned. I mean, the truth of it is the science is probably better done by unmanned missions, yes?
Yeah, overall.
Yeah.
Still, it would be great.
It's not as romantic if you don't have somebody say...
I want to be able to be watching in front of my screen, hopefully someday someone putting their foot on Mars.
I do too. And it's funny because for a long time I've said there's a kid right now in school, probably high school or elementary school, who will be the first person on Mars. I really thought that 5 years ago. I'm not sure I think that today.
Yeah, I think it may not happen as soon as that. I
That's
think
a shame.
one of the interesting things about the idea of commercial space exploration is that governments, while you can raise a lot of money, governments still have a lot more money. They can guarantee that it's safer, and to a certain extent, depending on the government, there is a chain of accountability. The only accountability you have in the private sector is to the shareholders and to profit. And without much motivation for profit, I don't know how far or how deep the bench is for private space endeavor. I just don't.
I'm with you, Dwight. I'm with you. I think it needs to be a joint venture of private and public, but ultimately the public sector, it's in society's interest, and I just hate to see it be
right. And look what they're starting with. They're starting with space tourism, where you can pay $200,000 and buy a ticket.
Flight,
They're also talking about doing some supply missions to the space station, and that's kind of interesting, I think. But I don't see somebody like SpaceX, 10 years from now establishing moon bases that we'll then use to go to Mars. They just don't seem to be that sophisticated or have that kind of financial depth.
Yeah.
There's not enough profit in it.
Right. Some stuff you do because it's for humankind.
Right. And I was listening to JFK's speech, which was
this decade is out.
Right, which was done here in Houston at Rice University, and he was it was theater, but it gave us as a nation a goal. It made us. It tapped into the very thing that caused this continent to be populated. And that was both, we have to go there, and that's the frontier. There was also profit in populating this continent.
Well, and I think that's the thing. I think among us, it's pretty clear to us that there's emotional and benefit, that there's societal benefit, there's huge scientific benefit. Right. It's pretty obvious. It's just hard to get. Unfortunately, it's hard to get government that's struggling with a unemployment rate of 9.2% and financial huge deficits to spend even $20 billion on a space program, and that's unfortunate. I guess all we can do is lobby for it and encourage private sector to do what they can as well. But I'm with you. I don't think, Dwight, that the private sector ultimately they're going to operate for profit, and it ultimately doesn't necessarily match our interest as a society. I know NASA's going to go on. I just hope that they continue to go to the Mars and on.
Well, I was
glad asteroids. Asteroids. There's some good stuff on those asteroids.
A lot of metal.
On the
There's a lot of we talk about natural resources running low, but asteroids are huge.
With some of those asteroids, $100 billion worth of precious resources.
So there's profit there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to thank you, Trey, for being here. I appreciate it. I'm sure you're exhausted.
Yeah, I am tired.
And you want to unpack. So glad that we could talk to you. And so, are you going to start working on those pictures? We're going to see a picture a day for a while, or?
Yeah, a picture a day. That's my meager promise to the internet.
Good enough for me. And on Google Plus, as well as on Facebook and on Twitter and at stuckincustoms.com. Actually, you're posting a ton of great pictures on Google Plus.
Thanks. I love it. I think it's great for photographers. It's a pretty exciting thing.
I would say in many ways Google Plus is the place to go now for photographers. People are. I have a whole photography circle, and the images I'm seeing are just spectacular. I'm just really pleased with it. And of course, you're #1 on that list.
Well, I don't know how that happened, but I'm very thankful, and you know, I've been able to at least use that to promote a lot of other photographers. I have other photographer lists and suggestions for people that want to make new circles, and we do hangouts to help people learn photography. We even did a live hangout from the shuttle launch. And,
I saw that, and on the plane later coming home.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun just meeting people from all over the world, because so many people are interested in photography now, and they just want to get a little bit better. And man, these things are really engaging and fun, and it's nice.
Doug Griffin and Google Plus wants to know if that was the first hangout on a plane. I think I saw one before yours.
Yeah, I don't know if it was or not.
It's a
a little sketchy.
There's a great picture of you with a woman sleeping behind you as you do your hangout.
Yeah, she was zonked out. It was hard to get chloroform onto that hot towel.
By the way, Trey, someone has already photoshopped a photo of Scoble as the little thing on Jabba the Hutt.
Oh no, where's that? I got
I
to see that.
It's Leo. I pushed it into the chat for this call on. It's
like I have access to that.
/Scoble.html.
Was it from the chat room?
No, that on the Skype call.
Yeah, no, I can't get over there.
No.
Was it in the chat room or?
No, I pushed it to your.
Somebody put it in the chat room, would they?
Yeah.
Because I can click that link. I can't click the link because you're. See, Dwight, you're behind me.
Hi.
Well, tell me what it is. Maybe I could type it in here.
It's pixelweight.com.
PIXELW.
EIGHT, pixelweight.com
Yep.
/Scoble.html.
What is pixel weight? I've never heard of that.
I don't have it either. Huh. We're about to hear about it, though, because this picture is for server.
Oh, my God. Ladies and gentlemen.
It's hideous.
It was pretty easy, actually. I think
it was easy.
It wasn't a lot of work.
I'm posting that to my Google Plus right after this.
See how long it takes to get on Google Plus.
I didn't mean to.
Trey, we'll let you go to bed. Thank you, Trey Ratcliff. Great to talk to you once again. Thanks for a great job. We'll look for you on Google Plus, Twitter, and stuckincustoms.com. Does everybody have a Google Plus account?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Invites are now going out. Apparently, I've got an invite at the bottom of my page here. So, and because Zuckerberg has 100,000 followers on Google Plus, I figure there's at least 100,000 people.
I think there's a good deal more. They're really kind of ramping
Schmidt
up.
said millions.
Yeah, they're really.
That's credible.
They're really ramping up the thing because they're publicly launching sometime soon.
So we're just around the corner. Well, we'll talk about that and a lot more in just a little bit. But first, let's get Tom Merritt here and find out what's coming up. Tom Merritt, of course, does our great TNT show. And that's our daily news show, 2:30 p.m. Pacific, 5:30 Eastern at live.twit.tv.
Hey, thanks, Leo. Here's a look at what we'll be covering on Tech News Today in the week ahead. Starting today, July 10th through July 14th, Microsoft's having its Worldwide Partner Conference in L.A. Expect a lot of Windows 8 news out of there. Monday, July 11th, Office XP extended support is over, so either upgrade or you're on your own. Also, Monday, July 11th, the finale of RoboCup 2011 in Istanbul, Turkey. The robots win. Tuesday, July 12th, UK extradition appeal for Julian Assange begins. Thursday's a busy day. We may see a MacBook Air or an OS X Lion release from Apple. We'll definitely see a Call of Duty Elite beta, and the Motorola Droid 3 officially hits Verizon for $200. And Friday, July 15th, the HP Touchpad goes on sale in the UK for £399. Back to you, Leo.
Wait a minute. Where is Tom? What is he in? Is he in the new studio? Hold on. Holy camole here. Wait a minute. Look at this. Apparently, they let Tom onto the set early. This actually isn't exactly how it's going to look, but he is on the set of TNT in the new studio. That big X really is there, but there'll be more books and stuff behind him. So that's pretty cool. That's kind of, in some ways, that's the first official view of the new studio. Ray, you were just over there.
I was. It's amazing.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty exciting. We'll be back with more in just a bit with our great guests, Ben Parr from Mashable, Ray Slakinski from High Def. Also joining us from CNN with his potted plant, Mark Milian. And also it's great to have you, Dwight Silverman from the Houston Chronicle. I want to talk a little bit about Go to Assist Express briefly here. If you are in the IT business, you know that remote support is critical to your mission, and there is no better remote support solution than Go to Assist Express. Do you ever do remote support, Ray? for your stuff, your software?
No.
No. You count your lucky stars.
Yes.
Thank
we
goodness.
have 2 wonderful support people that handle
So, a lot of
for
them,
us.
they go, okay, click the start button. Okay. Now scroll down. Okay, control panels. Okay. Now, can you? And who wants to do that?
You know, when I first started in doing customer support for desktop software.
It is such a pain.
I did it for Symantec and a couple of small
That's right, I
companies
knew
as well.
that. That's why I thought maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I did WinFax support.
WinFax.
Can you imagine configuring people's modems over the phone? It is AT and
okay.
no, the
Did it say
ampersand,
okay?
no.
Okay, not A and D plus. Okay. Oh.
It was horrible. I wish we had this.
Yeah, this would have saved you a lot of time. You could just type it right in.
Yeah.
You could do up to 8 sessions at once. You could do unattended sessions. So once you get it installed, and by the way, if you're a client, Mac or PC, doesn't have it installed, no problem. You send them a link. They click the link, and literally 30 seconds later, you're in, you're working on it, you're fixing the problem. And from then on, unattended support is available. Frost and Sullivan, who it's an analyst group that analyzes this sector, called to Go to Assist Express the worldwide market leader in remote support. I don't know why they put this in the copy. Leo says it's the one you got to get. That's all you need to know. I use it. We started using it in the screensavers. I never stopped using it, and I want you to try it free for 30 days. It's very simple. If you visit the website, gotoassist.com/twit. 30 days free. If you're in support, or even if just mom and dad need some help, 30 days free should be enough to fix their problem. Gotoassist.com/twit. They have day passes for people who do this all the time.
Yeah.
We all support our moms and dads. What
Yes.
a pain in the butt.
Mom,
I love you.
I made my parents switch to a Mac just so I could support them. Because I haven't touched a Windows computer in
I actually have that
like
deal.
6-7 years.
I have that deal with all my family members. If they buy a Windows PC, they're on their own.
Mm-hmm.
But if they buy a Mac, I'll help them.
I gave my mom my iPad too, so she could Skype with me.
Nice.
I think that in some ways, for those people, the iPad is really the future, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. It's just there's no security, there's no support issues. It's just boom.
My mom got an iPad 2 for Christmas, and she hasn't really used her desktop since. She uses numbers and for all her spreadsheets.
One of the rumors is that we will see a new iPad in September, a high-res iPad, not quite a Retina display. We're getting all these rumors out of Digitimes and the Chinese suppliers. Also, the latest is that there will be a new iPhone in the fall, but it'll just really be kind of a reskinned iPhone 4, and that the iPhone 5 won't be out till next year.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, the 3GS
They just came out with it, yeah.
It's
in the 4th year, right?
Yeah, it's like iPhone 3G to 3GS, iPhone 4.
You think there'll be a 4G iPhone?
Not this year.
No.
Probably next year.
That's the 5. What do you hear, Mark? I know you got your ears to the...
My guess is iPhone 4S, then iPhone 4G.
And
that's what I'm guessing.
And the G will be
4S is going to be dual band Verizon and AT&T.
Right. They'll use that Qualcomm.
Yeah.
Chip.
They already have that in the Verizon iPhone. They just haven't taken advantage of the GSM part of it.
Right. So let's talk about Google Plus. We won't belabor the point. We've talked about it for the last 2 weeks. But for some reason, the tech community has just fallen in love with this thing. You use it, Ben. What do you think? What is this? Is it the user interface? What is it? I have a theory, but I'm gonna let you speak first.
It's a combination. One, you have it's the community. It's early tech adopters. Early tech adopters like early tech adopters.
That's my theory. You stole it.
Oh,
because as soon as the rest of the world comes in, it's like, where else can we go?
Exactly. And the current market that's on Google Plus right now is not.
It's
general
not normal.
mom and dad. And that's the market that Google has to win if it actually wants to be competitive in the social networking space. Otherwise, it's going to be Friendfeed.
Right. It is. It's another Friendfeed.
Didn't we all love Google Buzz when it first came out? And
I loved Buzz. I left
not
because...
so much.
Not so much? Dwight, you didn't like Buzz?
I didn't like Buzz because I felt like it was forced on me.
Well, it kind of was.
Grafting it onto email was, I think, a really bad idea. Email is email, and it just didn't, I didn't want it. And I can't make up my mind about Google Plus. It feels really friend-feedy, and I think that's because of who's there at the moment.
Well, you know what the big difference?
Also, it doesn't show me anything that much different from Facebook.
But it isn't a friend feed because you can't pipe your other stuff into it, which was the thing. That was the seminal feature of friend feed all along, was that you'd pipe your Twitter and all. And I think that's what
Buzz did that too.
And I think it's what killed
Buzz
both friend feed and Buzz is they became aggregators.
Right.
And
Well,
so
also
everything,
what happens with social networks, I think that piping one thing to the next generally doesn't work because you lose context. The kind of things that you say on Twitter, when I see them piped into Facebook and see kind of the responses, they're like disjointed. It doesn't quite match, and I think I'm glad that Google Plus is not doing that. But
because all of these are native
they will.
Google Plus posts, so you don't
Right.
see people posting, and that
Smart
is a
decision.
difference.
The big difference. The other big one is that, I mean, the reason they called it just Plus is because they just want to make it as an addition to Google, as everything on Google is Google Plus.
Yeah, you can't get away from this black bar at the top of the Google now. Every Google thing you use has this black bar on it.
Don't you think that's going to change when they release the API? That we're going to see the tweet to Google Plus.
Well, that's a good
bots and
question.
options?
I don't.
That's a good question.
I think they probably shouldn't be focusing on
not to.
on importing other feeds in. Like I said, that like
They won't, but as soon as they have the API, other
Then
people
other
are
will,
going
yeah.
to, and then it's going to.
Screw up.
Yeah.
You're right. Because that's the first thing I'll do is I'll say, how can I get my Twitter feed into Google Plus? Or should I say, how can I get my Google Plus feed into my Twitter?
I think Google would prefer that.
That would be a better way to go, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
But
So if you make a good enough UI and make people, and which is very sticky right now, it's obvious, keep it very sticky, keep people living in Google Plus, and don't take stuff in, but only allow porting out, doesn't that work too?
haven't you seen the Facebook posts inside of Twitter where they're they stop mid-sentence and then there's a link?
Yeah, I hate those.
And you never follow them,
Yeah, you're right.
or you unfollow those people.
Yeah, you're right.
So
Yeah.
That's
I'm
the
not
point
sure.
about social networks not working with each other. I think, Twitter is best in its 140-character native state. Facebook is best in its native state, and I hope that Google Plus does not allow importing of other social networks. I think that'll mess it
I
up.
agree
But
with
on
you.
the other hand, I've watched as a lot of people who aren't techies go into it. A lot of the readers of my column have gone into it.
What do they think? I don't know any of
A
them.
lot of them are looking at it going, what's different here? Why do I need to leave Facebook?
It's just one
for
more.
this?
Yeah.
They kind of don't see a why yet, and that's for those who aren't interested in social media for social media's sake. They don't quite see the why should I be here yet. That's crucial.
You got to love this post from Vic Gundotras, Senior Vice President of Engineering at Google, who said, "Please accept our apologies for the spam we caused this afternoon." He's posting to Google+. "For about 80 minutes, we ran out of disk space."
How does Google do that?
Google runs out of disk
We
space.
ran out of disks. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would just like you all to mail your spare hard drives to Google. They obviously need them. Please, let's get that address, Eileen, and we'll give it out to everybody. No, I'm just kidding. They ran out of disk space on the service that keeps track of notifications, so they sent the notifications over and over again. What is it? What did they have, like a 2-terabyte drive and they ran out? That is the weirdest bug I have ever heard of.
Maybe they just did that so that they could brag about it.
We ran out of disk space. To me, that's the highlight of Google Plus in the first 3 weeks right there. We actually did ask on Google Plus, we might do this more, for your suggestions for stories we should cover on the show. And we're going to get to, we picked one that was not in our list that we'll cover in just a second. That's one of the uses of this. I've been doing Hangouts. That's been fun. But after a while, it's like, okay, I got it. Big deal. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see how they hook this all together, how the wiring and the plumbing comes in.
I think Hangouts really is the competitive advantage. I mean, that's something
unusual,
that
isn't it?
very few other services are doing, and no mainstream services are doing. I mean, Facebook, just a week after they launched Plus, was racing to catch up with this Skype feature they've been working on for about a year. But that can only do one-on-one. Hangouts is up to 10 people. But I think Dwight was onto something when he's saying social networks aren't interoperable. You don't want to push your Twitter to Facebook and vice versa. And putting them into buckets, I use Facebook for people I know in real life, and then Twitter for more work type stuff. And I haven't figured out where Plus fits into the whole, world of that.
I think you're not alone. So Facebook did have an awesome announcement. Well, kind of, sort. You were there, Ben. Sort of an awesome. kind of a, well, it was kind of boring actually. This this is the announcement. They added, well, they did 3 things. They put group chat into chat. They redesigned chat to accommodate that. Those are the non-announcements. The big announcement was they've added video. So let me see. I'm in chat right now. I see Becky Worley's name. Let me start a video call to Becky Worley. This is Skype built into Facebook. And, you know, at first I kind of said, aha, yeah, we've had this in Yahoo Messenger, MSN Messenger,
and
Google
MySpace.
Talk, MySpace. See, Tom Anderson on Google Plus said, oh, we had that in 2006. But I have to say, remember, this is Facebook. And in a way, what I just did is going to be a revelation for a lot of Facebook users. The ability just to click a button and start a Skype call with their family and friends. Maybe this is a little more awesome than we give them credit for. So let me record a message to Becky here.
That's a neat feature all on its own. That you
Isn't
can
that
record
great?
a video message.
Yeah. So there we go. Okay. Hey, Worley! It's me, Leo! How the hell are you? Install some video for crying out loud! All right, and now I've left that nice message for Becky, and
Nice.
well, let's.
Hey, Worley!
All right, it worked. And then there we go. I'll just send that along,
I
and
think you just X'd it.
did I just kill it?
Yeah, you just killed it.
Oh, never mind. Oh, well. So maybe it's not that easy for Grandma and Grandpa, huh? No, I think that that's huge, and I think it's big for Skype as they, you know, on the eve of their acquisition by Microsoft. But I think even more important, that 750 million people are now going to have a very trivial, simple, easy way to call the grandkids, to call each other. Don't you think that's pretty important, Mark? I mean, I know you know how to use Skype.
It's way bigger than FaceTime. I mean, Apple had said a year and a half ago, or at least over a year ago, that they were going to open up FaceTime, and they never did it. I think they thought they had the competitive advantage, and it never worked out.
That's a really good point. This is what FaceTime should have been. This is the video phone. This is what they were showing in the 1965 World's Fair. Only it works.
Well, video chat, I mean, all of these chat services are about who can reach critical mass first.
Right.
And when Apple first introduced FaceTime, I think they thought they had the they thought they were playing catch up, and they said, we're going to open source this, and we're going to let everybody use it. We want this to be the video chat standard. And they never did that because I think they saw FaceTime as this competitive advantage. People will buy Apple products to get this video chat service. And I think Skype with Facebook kind of changes that. They've all of a sudden overnight reached this much greater audience.
You agree, Ben? I mean, you were at the announcement. What was the reaction initially? I have to say my initial reaction is, but then I started to think about it, and I did think this is pretty big.
I think it's the same kind of, exactly that. Like, I mean, we were like, ooh, it's not as pretty or as unique or as cool as Google Hangouts, but one-on-one video calling is important to a lot of people, and a lot of people aren't looking for just like 10-person video chats. Most people are looking for one-on-one.
I want to see the grandkids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this makes that easy. You don't have to have a directory. They're already in there.
Well, if your grandkids are 13 or over, of course.
Well, I want your children are in there, and the children will hold up the baby. All those things Apple, exactly, you're right, Mark Milian. All those things Apple put in their FaceTime ads that never really happened.
And why didn't FaceTime take off? I mean, I know a lot of people who have iPhone 4s. I have an iPhone 4, and all of my family have iPhone 4s, and we don't use it.
Me neither.
And a lot of us are connected to Wi-Fi most of the time, and we don't use it. I don't think a lot of people do. So will people use this? Is video, for the masses a little too intrusive? Or is it that FaceTime is, in its current incarnation, is too clunky to use? I mean, I'm curious as to what people think as to why it hasn't gotten more traction.
I have a theory on that. And my basic theory, the statistics show that like teenagers and the younger generation are making less phone calls, and they're doing more texting, and texting is less intrusive. You can respond to when you want to. Phone call, it interrupts whatever you're doing. You have to respond, that type of thing. And a video call is even more intrusive because you have to stop that, but you also have to be holding the thing, looking at the camera, rather than like you can't be doodling on the side or something.
I have to say, Facebook chat is intrusive. Whenever I go to a Facebook page, 20 people try to chat with me, and I just go, oh, God, I forgot to turn it off. I mean, anything that interrupts you is intrusive. Chat can be very intrusive.
No.
So really, I think who's going to use this is kind of just, it's going to be, I want to see the grandkids. I'll make an appointment with you. I will call you tomorrow night. Let's see the grandkids. It's going to be more of that, isn't it?
I hope so. That's a good use of it.
That's a very good use of it. I doubt very much that Ray and I will talk to each other on Facebook using Skype. I hope you don't.
No, I don't think so. And from the sounds of it, you would never accept it.
I'm never going to accept it.
I forgot to turn it off.
Oh, man. So now everybody knows when they try to chat with me on Facebook when I'm going, oh, God, I forgot to turn it off. Well, it's kind of a surprise because you're going there just to, check Facebook briefly, and then somebody starts to chat. It's like, oh, crap.
And the first time you have to download that little Java applet that runs it. I mean, when was the last time you had to download a Java applet to do something?
You're talking about the new Skype, yeah. But it's a lot easier. And also,
Is it Java or Flash?
It's Java.
Oh.
You saw that recording was Flash.
Yeah.
So the input, I guess, for the recording of the message is Flash. But the Skype part is a jar file on the Mac and an exe file that loads a jar file on the PC.
Yeah, they've had that video message recording feature for a little while.
That's the old one. Okay.
But yeah, post to people's Facebook walls videos of yourself talking and stuff. The Skype is something completely new, which they had one Facebook engineer working with the Skype team to build.
So you heard that they'd been doing this for a year, Mark.
Yeah, well, the talks have been happening for a year, and the talks actually heated up once Microsoft bought Skype. I think
well, that's interesting. So it wasn't something they had done, and then Microsoft came along after the fact. That was kind of a trigger.
Well, they had been talking for a long time, but Microsoft has a very deep, long-time relationship with Facebook. Right. They're an investor in Facebook. And I think Tony Bates said at the news conference that I think it was the day of the announcement that Microsoft was buying Skype. The Skype executives went down to Facebook, met with Mark Zuckerberg to reaffirm that they're excited about this partnership and they want to keep it moving.
Yeah, and Mark Zuckerberg said that once we heard about this deal, we had more confidence. As if they didn't maybe have enough confidence in Skype to begin with, but once they knew that Microsoft was involved, the servers and so forth. You were great, Ben Parr. You asked Mark Zuckerberg, so what do you think of Google+?
Someone had to ask it.
It was great. I think you, maybe I imagined it, but it felt like you got a round of applause.
I think...
You got a virtual round of applause.
Hope so. I don't know.
Well, and this is the weird thing. We all know that Mark Zuckerberg is the #1 most followed person, not on Facebook, on the Google social network.
I see you on that list, Leo.
I wasn't going to mention that, but Mark has 110,000 followers now. He's almost twice Larry Page and definitely twice Sergey Brin, the founders of Google. Scoble's #4. That just tells you how silly these lists are.
But he also has, like, the most friends.
He follows a lot of people. So... You said, Mark, what do you think of Google+? What was his response?
Well, he did the dance. He danced, but he did it so elegantly. He's become much better at the dance. But it was he essentially got to the point of like, this is all just reaffirming our vision of the past 5 years of growing social networks and layers. And the next 5 years just is using this social layer that's been built to do amazing things like video chats and applications and all those kind of things.
Right.
So he danced around it. He did it very diplomatically.
But who would be surprised? I mean, the only difference is that on Google Plus you can't be on there kind of privately. But of course, it makes sense that Mark's going to check out the competition. Don't you think that Larry and Sergey and Vic are on Facebook? I mean, they're all on Twitter. I mean, what's the surprise here, right? Of course he's on there. What's the surprise to me, though, is how many people are following him. Like, you join Google Plus and you follow Mark Zuckerberg. It's like that's what you do.
Out of this entire list, he's the only one who's been the subject of a movie.
Ah. Well, if we scroll down just a little bit, you'll see Mashable News. You'll see Notch, the creator of, whatchamacallit? What is it? The really? Minecraft. The Minecraft. Felicia Day, she's an actress.
Yeah, that's true.
She's the #1 celeb right now. Gina Trapani right after her. And then #13, Tom Anderson of MySpace. And by the way, his tagline is enjoying being retired. He's been one of the most engaged people on Google+. He's really posting a lot. He's fun to follow.
I actually thought he was working for Google there for a while.
Yeah, it's kind of deceptive, isn't it? Marissa Myers on the list. Jeff Jarvis. Mike Arrington. There's Pete Cashmore of Mashable. You're on the list, aren't you, Ben?
I'm at like 38 or something.
What is it that every time is it something men do we measure? Is it something? Why is it every time this social network? Every time we got to. Oh, who's bigger?
I'm not gonna go there.
I'm bigger, but I'm growing. Not as big as Mark, but I'm growing.
Take pills for that, Leo.
Great article in the New York. Yeah, really. There's a great article in the New York Times by Nick Bilton about Mark Zuckerberg. Apparently, when he's got somebody he really wants to hire, he says, "Let's take a walk." And they walk through the parking lot at Facebook, and they go up to the mountain. They go up a hiking trail to a hill that overlooks all of Silicon Valley. And then he goes, "See, there's Apple. There's Google. How'd you like to be a part of all this? All this could be yours. I've got and then literally he says, I got the papers back at the office if you'd like to sign up."
I've heard some interesting hiring stories from Facebook. And
have you?
Yeah, he will go to great lengths to get people that he wants.
Well, it's a battle in Silicon Valley right now. Facebook does seem to be winning that battle. They've got, I mean, a lot of Googlers have gone over there. In fact, another article in the New Yorker magazine about Sheryl Sandberg, who's the is she the president?
COO.
COO, Chief Operating Officer of Facebook, talking about how competitive it is, and there was some question about her involvement in that because, of course, she was a bigwig at Google, one of the first employees at Google, and in that article, a Googler, not named, says she's persona non grata at Google because we feel she's stealing engineers. She's using her inside knowledge. They even said she knows that it takes 3 weeks to get hired at Google, the process, so that's why Facebook's process is 2 weeks, because we want to give them the offer first.
Yep.
It's very, very competitive.
Smart. If it's true, it's very smart.
It's pretty amazing.
The competition, I mean...
Is it rough?
Yeah, but I can see why Zuckerberg does that. Can you just imagine being like some 20-something engineer?
Oh, God. Yes. All this someday will be yours, my son. But you know, it's going to change. You know what? This is why Steve Jobs is landing the spacecraft in Cupertino. Because now, when Mark Zuckerberg goes up on the hill, he's like, what the hell is that?
I want to work there.
I want to work there. That looks nice down there. There's not a single piece of straight glass on that building.
The thing is if you go up there with Mark Zuckerberg and he does, all this can be yours, and I've got the papers back at the office, and if you say yes right there, he doesn't hire you because he knows you don't have to.
That's the Zappos model, right?
That's
the Zappos
right.
model, they put you through the Zappos training, the executive training, and then at the end of it, they offer you, it's going up. It was, I think, $5,000 not to take the job. And they figure anybody who'll take the money, we don't want them anyway. See ya. All right, we're going to... Someday, all this will be yours. We're going to take a break. Come back in just a bit. Great panel with us. Ben Parr, so good to have you finally. I've been a fan for so long at Mashable. You're doing such a great job over there.
Thank you.
Really, really, really appreciate your showing up. And Ray Slakinski, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Nice to have some actual people in the studio today. Before we continue on, let me mention our good friends at Carbonite.com. Talking about friends, Carbonite is the way to back up. I think, about Francis Ford Coppola when I think about Carbonite. Great film director, 20 years of screenplays on his hard drive. He was living in Argentina. He was backing up to a second hard drive right next to his computer, external drive plugged in. Thieves broke in. They stole the computer. They stole his hard drive. I remember reading this story about a year ago. Tragic. He said, that's 20 years worth of work. It's gone. I had a backup, but it's gone. When the worst happens, you're going to wish you had a backup off-site. That's so important, in the cloud, and this is what Carbonite does. Mac or PC, you go to Carbonite.com right now and use the offer code TWiT. You'll be installing it for 15 days free. Now, immediately what happens is when you're not using your computer but you're online, it'll start just kind of backing up your data. When it does that first full backup, from then on, you just are always backed up. It's not like I'll back up on Sunday. It's all the time. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about how much either, because it's unlimited backup for every bit of your personal data on the internal drive. You can't start plugging in drives, but on the internal drive. And it's always there. You can even access it. You don't have to wait for a disaster online. It's cloud storage. So you can log onto your Carbonite account on any computer, on your smartphone, BlackBerry phone, and there's your stuff. It's all there waiting for you. And so easy to restore should the disaster happen, or should you, upgrade to a new computer. You just log onto your Carbonite account on the new computer, press restore, and you're done. So try it free. Use the offer code TWiT, Carbonite.com. If you decide to buy, It's $59 a year. That's about 16 cents a day. And what they're going to do is they're going to add an additional 2 months to your 12-month subscription if you use the offer code TWiT. These are great guys. You know, they just you'll like this, Ray. They had I think their support team was in India. It was offshore, outsourced support. And they kept looking at the results, and they finally said, you know what, we're going to move them back. They just hired 150 people in Lewiston, Maine,
nice,
to do all their support. I think that's really nice. Nothing against. If you're an Indian company, use Indian support people. I'm not saying that. Nothing wrong with it. But if you're an American company, I think it's nice to use local people. And they found that really people were getting, frankly, better support from the people who really were right there. So that's, I think, really great. Carbonite.com, offer code TWiT, and we really thank them for their support. We have people, you know, we've been selling these bricks. A lot of our sponsors now are buying the logo bricks. So when we have the wall of honor in there, isn't that pretty where that's going to be?
Yep.
Yeah.
And when you come in the lobby, you'll see it. It's right there. I'll show you, Ben, after the show. But we've got 2 rows of these logo bricks going all the way down there. So it's really...
I'm glad to see that you expanded the wall. So
yeah, we had to. More. We've sold 1,000.
Wow.
200 of these, but 1,000 total.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you, because... well, let me show you. I got nothing left. It's all empty pockets. We spent every penny on this new studio, but it was worth it. It really is.
So Leo, what's going to happen to the TWiT cottage? What is going to become of your original?
It's exciting. We've got this big wrecking ball, and we're just going to go boom. No, we don't own the building. We don't own either building. We're leasing it. So we're just going to move out, and somebody else will move in. It'll be kind of sad. You know, we've been getting tons of visitors over the last month or two for people who say, I want to see it before it's over. But man, this place
should get historic landmark status for it.
It's such a dump. I don't think so. And somebody, this is good. Somebody just said to me, you don't want logos on the ISS, but you're going to have logos all over your building. Well, that's a good point. If the government would like to support TWiT, no, I don't want them to support TWiT at all. So the Nortel patents, I think we talked about this last week. They've gone not to Google, who bid for them, $3.14159 billion, but they went to Apple, BlackBerry's RIM, and Microsoft. So how long, Ben Parr, before we get the lawsuits? When are the lawsuits on Android? Any minute now.
Oh.
You think?
I mean, obviously they already started, but that's how hammering. Apparently that's how
hammer.
And Microsoft's make a whole bunch of money, like on every Android device sold. They just like
they want to make. They just want. It's not the money now. They want to kill it. Don't you think?
I definitely think so. It's Oracle, it's Microsoft, all of them, and really that consortium went for those patents. I mean, it was a defensive move to make sure that Google didn't have them, and Google didn't have the defense against its platform. 500.
Google says we're activating 500,000 Android. I'm a big Android fan. Ray, are you still Apple?
Yeah, I can't. Yeah. I don't know. I just can't stand the Android interface.
Come on, play with this. It's a G2X. You're gonna like it. Look at. I got the weather in the background there. I got all these widgets.
I think it might be the widgets that I don't like.
Well, you can. You know, if you want, you know, if you don't have to like widgets. If you want Ray, you could just make it an array of icons on there. It can look just like an iPhone. I don't know.
Although right there,
it does look just like an iPhone.
I do like that because I can see my stuff.
What do you got there, Mark Milian? What are you holding up there?
iOS 5.
Oh, see, that's nice.
That looks widget
tree.
Just like an Android phone.
Just like
they stole the good feature. The one.
The notifications are spectacular. Yeah.
And the widgets in the
in the notification system.
Yeah. When the screen's locked.
Hey Ray, you did the tip I left at the Water Street Bistro.
Great quiche. Awesome quiche. It was great.
That's something you can't do on an Apple phone. For some reason, Foursquare added these little notifications to Android first. Yeah. So it notified me.
Nice.
Yeah, that you tried the quiche.
It was very good quiche.
That's pretty funny.
Well, why do we always talk about food on these things?
That. What?
Why do we always talk about food on these things?
Because I'm hungry.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, I'm starving. Best quiche in town. Congrats, you've done this.
Yeah. And the bread that they give beforehand, best bread I've ever had.
Yeah. Awesome. Apple, according to an analyst, Apple makes 50% of all handset industry profits. See, you can't. Apple's doing all right. We don't have to feel sorry for Apple here. They're not only
Apple is although Android is the most used mobile operating system, smartphone operating system, the iPhone is the most sold handset of any of the,
I'm
any of
confused.
the individual handsets. So
Oh,
that kind of makes sense to a certain, to a large extent.
I
Since
get
Apple
it.
Yeah,
does
there's only
both
4 models of
Because there's
iPhone.
4 iPhones, but there's 4,000 Android phones.
Right.
But they're in different businesses. I mean, Apple is deriving all of its revenue from the hardware sales, whereas Google is, doing this for free so that they can get all of this money from mobile ad revenue.
Right. So this is market share. Android, I love this. 2008, Android market share 0.6. Or I'm sorry, 0.5%. 2009, 3.9%. 2010, 22%. First quarter, 2011, 31%. Now 42%. Projected to be 50% by the end of 2012. And Apple going kind of pretty stable at about 15 to 18% of the market share.
It's RIM that's really taking the big
RIM's
hit.
the one that's dying.
Oh,
Look at that. Oh,
it's just sad.
Are you a BlackBerry fan?
I'm an iPhone person, but it's just sad. I mean,
Well, look at Symbian. Symbian ain't doing too well either. 52% in 2008, projected to be 9% in 2012.
well, no surprise they threw it under the bus.
Right.
I live in
And
RIM
Windows
country,
and
so-
Windows Mobile is not doing well either, despite despite the Windows Phone 7, it just isn't taking off. They're still sinking like a stone.
4.9% market share in the second quarter.
I wouldn't rule them out yet. I'm curious to
No,
see what happens
Nokia
with
could
Nokia.
Nokia could change everything. Huh?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Anybody here use a Windows phone?
I've used them.
I own a Focus.
It's not like the interface itself. Like I can see.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, non-techies are like there's like easier. It's a little bit of easier access in some
I
ways.
think it's like my first Sony. It's my first smartphone. I
Yes.
really do. I think
Yes.
that's exactly the market
Yep.
for it. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
My first smartphone.
And there's a huge number of people who've not done it. I mean, I think only a third in the U.S. of cell phone owners have smartphones.
Lots
at this
of
point.
room for growth.
Lots of room, and it's a great operating system. I mean, I think Microsoft stumbled in not getting key features out faster, but it's a great operating system, and it'll be real interesting to see how it integrates with Windows 8.
We were talking about the new iPhone this fall. Wall Street Journal saying that Apple expects to make 25 million units of the new iPhone for this year alone. Wow, that's amazing. I mean, so you can't really, nobody's out of the market, or certainly Apple's going strong and Android's strong. I think there's still hope for Windows. Really, the loser is BlackBerry.
Yeah. And as I said, I live in RIM country, so
Right, you're right up there by Waterloo.
yeah, it's a 20-minute drive from me.
Yeah.
And it's all
WebOS,
RIM
anybody?
developers.
Well, what do you think, Mark? The
No?
touchpad. People have been disappointed by the touchpad. Did you play with one?
Yeah, we got a touchpad here. I'm also in the disappointed camp, I think. I mean, it looks like they haven't done a whole lot with the operating system in the last couple of years, and I think they've lost a lot of their best designers and a lot of their best engineers to Apple and Google and the hotter companies in the mobile space in the transition from Palm to HP. So, I mean, they still make pretty good hardware and they still make pretty good software, but it's not outstanding in any way. I think that HP putting WebOS on all its, on printers and computers, and then trying to, lease it out to other manufacturers could be an interesting play, but it's going to take a while before they can do anything with that software.
That's a shame. I loved WebOS. I actually thought the Palm Pre was a great start anyway. Underpowered, but a great start. It's a little bit disappointing. So RIM might be out. Nokia is going to be around. We'll see with the Windows. There's a competitive market there.
We can't really. In 5 years
rule
from now,
anybody
there could be whole new players. I mean, just think 5 years ago there was no iPhone.
There was no Android 3 years ago.
It's
Yeah.
change world.
The world is changing way too fast. One thing I know you don't want to do: sneak spy software onto Apple computers at the Apple Store. Apparently not a good idea. The guy,
I love this story.
The guy who did. Well, tell me the story. Tell me the story.
So this one was from Mashable Sarah Kessler, and she, there was this, I guess, artist like in New York, and he decided to like put spyware on all these different like Apple devices. in all the like New York stores and like take pictures of these people like while they were looking at it. And then I think he had like a showing in an Apple store where you would see all these different people, including yourself,
looking at the computer.
Yeah,
it's a clever idea. Apple has sicked the Secret Service on them.
I know. I was like, the Secret Service.
That's serious now. They're pissed. So this is the video that he made, or this is his story? This is from the Mashable story.
Yeah, I think this is a video.
1,000 photos using computers around New York City. So here's him. So this is the software installed.
Yeah, this is some of the people that.
I like this, but of course you can't do that.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
You kind of picked the wrong company to tangle with here. I mean, they allow iJustine to dance around, but really.
Oh, iJustine isn't installing any spyware on their computers.
No. This is kind of cool, though. Look at this. He's an artist.
It reminds me of that software that you put on your computer, Prey, to take pictures of the person who stole it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
From Orbicule.
Right.
Yeah. So he arranged a public exhibition of these photos at an Apple store.
Yeah, at an Apple store.
When he says arranged, does he mean he actually talked to management at the Apple store, or?
No.
I think he only talked to the security people, making sure, like, am I allowed? Can I take pictures? And they said yes, and he didn't. He didn't say, by the way, I'm
using your software, your cameras. Wow. Well, I'm glad he made the video.
It looks like he's using a legit camcorder. I mean, he's got like a good zoom going. He's not filming this on an iPhone in the store. So
hey, he's an artist.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the Apple Store employees should have like noticed.
They should have
with
picked
big
up
cameras.
on this. Yeah. Now here he is. He's taking over the. He's taking over the computer. Hey, that's me. This is pretty funny. I can see how pissed. I could just see Steve Jobs coming hurtling down the hall saying, "Who the hell is this guy?" Oh, man. All right. So we'll find out what happens. Kyle McDonald, good luck. And if you need money for your fund, call NASA.
You should consult Gizmodo for legal advice.
Gizmodo, yeah. Call Brian Lamb. Yeah. Oh, he quit?
Yeah, he quit.
He's gone. You know where he's going?
He didn't announce when he didn't announce. I don't really know what he's going to do next.
He left.
He went to surf, I think. I think he's just going off to surf.
Surfing?
Sounds like a good life.
Surf.
All right, who thinks we're going to get Lion this week?
Yay.
You think so?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. I think Thursday.
Thursday? Mark, you agree?
Yeah, it'll probably, I mean, it's not a big release, so it'll come in the next couple of weeks, I'm sure. I don't think they'll make a big hoopla out of it.
Well, no, but that's the difference. We know it's this month, but some people are saying it's this week.
It's going to come at the same time as the MacBook Airs, and if the MacBook Air rumors are true, then it'll be sometime this week.
Jesus says it's not the future we were hoping for. That's Jesus Diaz on just in case I didn't mean to confuse you.
Jesus.
Jesus says, forget it.
I was all impressed there for a second.
I don't know. I'm pretty excited. Have any of you played with it? I haven't played with it.
I haven't played with it, but the description that he gives is kind of what I was afraid of. When they were describing it at the launch event for it, they were talking about how it's iOS on top of Mac OS. I was kind of thinking, that sounds Frankensteinian.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds like they've grafted something.
He used the phrase mission chaos.
Yeah, and it seems to me like that's I saw some reference to it as like this could be Apple's Vista, and I don't know whether we're going that far, but it does sound like it's clunky, like it's not seamless as it should be, but it could be also that that's because it's not yet on the software, on the hardware that they envision it being on. Imagine if you did have touchscreen iMacs that say laid down when you wanted to use them like a touchscreen. It could be a lot more friendly then, but I think if you're using the gestures on a touchpad and with a magic mouse, I'm not sure that sounds like it would work well.
One of the things he says, the ugly failure of the physical metaphor, this is Jesus Diaz writing, another iOS aspect that has worked its way into Lion is the graphical emulation of physical surfaces. Now there's gross faux wood paneling in Photo Booth. The address book is a real-world hardbound address book. iCal is a bloody pseudo-calendar made of paper and leather. The question is, why is Apple reproducing things that are obsolete already? Does anyone under 18 even know what these things are? Let's ask our kid. Mark Milian.
How old are you, Mark, anyway?
They do the same thing with the iPad. I mean, it's just kind of like a cute thing that they do.
I like it, but I'm an old fart, and I do wonder. I mean, isn't this kind of antiquated?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just going for nice, bubbly design that appeals to, you know, your senses of, ooh, that looks kind of cool.
It looks like leather.
Yeah, I've used the pre-release version of Lion, and I mean, they really should have called it Desert Leopard or something, because it's the same incremental step that they took with Snow Leopard. It's very little that's new.
Okay. Well, and the good news is it's $30. You could, you know, download it from the App Store, put it on every machine. I mean, it's not like they're asking for $129 for it.
To me, it feels like this is just like a mid-stage, like a prep stage for the next version.
We said that last time. We said that Snow Leopard was a prep stage for the next version.
I think they've just moved. You know, they don't work in a very centralized team environment. There's not much of like, you know, this is the Mac team and this will always be the Mac team. Their engineers go back and forth between products, and I think they've shifted a lot of their resources to iOS. So I think they're to an extent giving up on doing big innovations on the desktop, just because the iOS is becoming such a giant part of their business, and there's so much more to do there.
Good Sound in our chat room says the next version should be Putty Tat.
When do they go to OS 11?
I don't know.
And will they not use the marketing term "it goes to 11"? Please don't.
No, they don't. They wouldn't. That would be a
not.
bad idea. That would be terrible.
Random aside, I miss when I talk to when I talk to my cousin, talked about Looney Tunes. Like, what's Looney Tunes?
No, please.
No.
They don't know?
They don't know.
Kids today.
Even my son knows what Looney Tunes is, and he's 5.
You just have an ignorant cousin.
I hope so, because I love Looney Tunes. Wait, did I just say that?
Looney Tunes are still around.
You did a very credible.
Looney Tunes on the Cartoon Channel?
Yeah, I'm sure they're still. They're on YouTube, right, Mark?
That's how I said them.
Oh, sure.
I saw that on YouTube. Isn't this, in a way, though, what Microsoft's doing with Windows 8, at least what we've seen of Windows 8? It looks like they're gluing a tablet interface on top of an operating system. This might be the thing, you know. I have to say, I bet you both these companies, Apple and Microsoft, are desperately casting around to figure out, well, what can you do to an operating system that's new and different? We kind of got it down. I mean, there's no real reason to change, is there? Are we done?
I mean, the real reason to put that Windows 8, Windows Phone 7 type Mosaic interface is because they're taking the desktop Windows and scaling it into tablet. I mean, those changes are designed for the tablet devices that people are going to put out.
But they will appear on the
Apple's
desktop.
Not doing that.
But they will appear on the desktop.
They'll appear on the desktop, and maybe it'll be good for, you know, grandma who gets her cheap Windows netbook, and she can, you know, see big tiles and figure out what everything is. But those changes are really done for the tablet devices. And Apple, you know, they've gone the other way. They've said our mobile OS, our OS for phones is also for tablets. And it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to put all of that touch stuff onto the desktop for the Mac.
Well, we'll see. I don't want to get into, you know, I got in such heat because Dvorak came on about a month ago and was slamming Windows 8, and we just got nothing but hate mail from
I need to play with that thing in my hands before I make a decision.
Yeah, it's way too early. But I also, I don't raise this as a way of criticizing Microsoft, but just wondering if maybe we're kind of casting around for something new, some idea, because operating systems are kind of, I mean, the iPad, that's the new idea. The iPhone, the touch screen, that's the new idea. The desktop, I don't know if there's anything more to say about it. Is there?
No, I don't think so. I mean, for me, it's just a development machine. I do any browsing or
So you agree with Steve Jobs that it's a truck?
Yeah.
Some people will still need a pickup, but most people don't.
Well, I don't think you'll ever develop an application on an iPad, ever. It's just the interface isn't
right. You still need it. Yeah.
For a large amount of typing.
If you did, it'd be painful.
You know, I don't buy that Jobs analogy. If it's a truck, then why are they trying to put, you know, 6 seats inside of it, and why are they trying to melt
It's an SUV.
8 cup holders.
They need to figure out, you know, if it's a truck and it's gonna, you know, lose its mainstream significance but still be important to a small sect, then don't drastically change things like what they did with Final Cut Pro 10. Like that just pissed off a lot of the truck drivers.
True. Are you saying the touch is the cup holders of the desktop? I think that's good. I like it.
Yeah.
Say it.
See that.
So we asked we asked our audience on Google Plus, where else, because you know we're basically little fanboys here, for their suggestions for stories for today's show, and you know what? They came up a lot of them. Nikola Tesla's 155th birthday. That's a good one. They came up with one that was actually something probably I wouldn't have heard about, and I'm really grateful. So we thank, let me get the name so I can tell you who thought this one up. Jamie Diamond on G+, for pointing to this Ars Technica article that kind of stunned me. Major ISPs agree to 6 strikes copyright enforcement plan. Now, we've heard about the 3 strikes plan that was proposed by ACTA and adopted in France and some other countries, where you have 3 unproven strikes against you for piracy. They'll kick you off the internet. Well, AT&T, Verizon, Comcast, Cablevision, and Time Warner have just signed on to a voluntary agreement with the movie and music industry to crack down on infringers. After 6 strikes, well, you won't exactly be out, but what are they going to do, spank you? They're going to educate you.
To like dial-up speeds.
Yeah, they'll educate. You have
kind
to
of harass you bit by bit.
Yeah, you have to go to re-education camp.
They're going to make you watch YouTube videos all day long about privacy.
That's actually what YouTube did.
Yeah, they did that.
They make you watch. If you get dinged like a certain 3 times on YouTube for copyright violations, before you can continue on, you have to go to copyright school on YouTube.
It's like the Happy Animal Friends. I don't know which one.
It is.
Got the characters. Yeah.
Is it actually? Oh, I didn't realize it was actually a real.
It was. Yeah. They went with one of their YouTube stars. Like I don't remember the name of the one, but they went with these characters that are already very popular.
Russell learns some important lessons. It's Happy Tree Friends.
Ah, there it is.
Russell learned some important lessons about copyright. Let's all watch together. By the way, I'm violating copyright by running this on the show, and we will probably get pulled off of YouTube just for this.
We're just educating people.
Everybody's really been looking forward to the new video from Lumpy and the Lumpettes.
Oh, I like his little pirate hook. See, he's a pirate. He's got a hook and a patch.
Russell's a huge fan. He can't wait to tell all his friends about it.
He would use that hook and just like
so he was
take out the guy's eye, right?
You didn't create that video. You just copied someone else's content.
This is so. I'm sorry.
Uploading someone else's content.
Delete. You just copied somebody else's content.
If you want to see that video,
if I was
just
forced
go
to
do
watch
some
that, I
copyright.
would never steal content ever again.
You know, I watched it and then I
learned
checked
my
the
lesson.
box and I've said, I've learned my lesson. Next time I'll wear an eye patch.
This, this is almost these 6 steps are almost. It's almost like they're wimping out. You know, you read this and you go, okay, when are you like really going to smack them down? And
right.
And if you're going to agree to something, then this is so amorphous and so weenie.
They call them copyright alerts, a series of messages warning users that their alleged activity has been detected. Penalties could result if you continue. 6 times you get these messages.
Yeah, this is the don't make me come up there, kids approach.
Don't make me pull over this internet. There is an appeals process, and then there's the punishment, which they don't call punishment. They call it a mitigation measure. Ooh. Don't make me open up a mitigation measure on your ass. I'm going to come up there.
You're grounded.
You're mitigated.
Son, it's time for a mitigation measure.
Oh.
I'm going... there's a $35 filing fee. I can't... Okay, so the first alert, second alert, third alert. Fifth alert, sixth
Where do the
alert.
alerts go to?
How does that even work? Like
if I'm BitTorrenting something, how
okay,
do they
so all right, so
alert me?
would you be Mr. Pirate for the purposes
Sure.
of our show today? All right.
Never done such a heinous act before, but I'll pretend just for this.
Put down that BitTorrent. In response to a notice from a copyright owner, an internet service provider will send an online alert to a subscriber, an email, let's say,
email
notifying you that your account may have been misused.
It's a good thing I checked my ISP's email account.
Yeah. And by the way, if it were content theft, that would be wrong and a violation of our published policies, and that consequences could result from any such conduct. It will also direct you to educational resources. In other words, that
like
crappy
Happy
tree friends. Anyway, then the second alert, if it persists, the subscriber may get a second alert, which will underscore the educational message.
So is this like when I count, like 1, 2? If I get the 3,
don't make me count. If the subscriber account, again, this is third strike now.
What?
Again appears to have been used for content theft, you'll receive another alert. However, this alert will provide a conspicuous mechanism, such as a click-through pop-up notice, landing page, or something like that, asking you to say, I got that. I got it.
That's a good punishment. They just barrage you with pop-ups.
This is just to make sure that you got the message. Fourth alert, if you keep doing it, you're going to get another alert.
Oh my! Not another alert.
Fifth alert, if the subscriber account again appears, you got a lot of leeway here.
Yeah.
Again appears to have been used for content theft, they'll send you another alert. At this,
I hope they don't send this to like my if I was doing this, and of course I don't ever, but if I was doing this and they were to say send it to my ISP email address, which I never use, and a lot of people don't use, I would never see these.
So, okay, by alert 5, they can do the mitigation. Now, here's the mitigation measures. For instance, not limited to, but including temporary reduction of internet speed, redirection to a landing page that says you can't use the internet till you call us. You've been called to the office. To discuss the matter or reviews in response to some educational information about copyright. ISPs are not obliged to impose mitigation measures, which would disable or be reasonably likely to disable the subscriber's voice telephone service, email account, or any secure. See, this is a problem. You can't cut somebody off of the internet because you've been selling them internet-based phone service for the past 6 years, or health service such as home security or medical monitoring. The ISP can waive it. Could say no. Sixth alert, whether or not the ISP has previously waived the mitigation measure, if the subscriber's account again appears to have been used for content theft, the ISP will send another alert.
So what happened to number 7?
We start over. Goes back to 1.
This is death by 1,000 alerts. That's what this is.
I bet you they just like send a letters like, please just stop doing this. It's like an actual letter.
We don't want to do this. You're making me sad.
So if you have 6 things downloading at the same time, so there's 6 separate content violations, do I get like 6 alerts all at once?
No, and that's why you should download as many. Okay, you should have as many downloads as you can, because each one is 1 alert.
Okay.
So kids, when you're downloading movies or music from the internet, make sure you download as much as possible every time.
I recommend 10 to 20.
10 to 20.
Yeah.
And you have to get caught too. I mean, they don't catch people pretty much ever.
I'm looking at Mark Milian. I think he should get at least 2 alerts right now.
This is good news for the small ISPs.
Yes.
All the pirate ships will be.
That's true. It's only the biggies. Yeah. All right, let's talk about music. Spotify is supposedly coming to the U.S. sometime next week. Does anybody now?
I can't use it.
You're in Canada.
I'll just bow out.
You can't use it. We can't use it. Anybody here? Have you tried it?
I've tried it.
You can use a proxy. Oh, Mark Milian, you're raising your hand. I knew you were a pirate.
No, they hooked me up with it.
They hooked
you up. I got
it
legitimately, illegitimately.
So, look, I use Rdio. I've used Mog. I've used Rhapsody. How is this different from those?
Well, I mean, it's got a nice design, and it's It actually rivals the song catalog, but obviously the biggest competitive advantage is that it's going to be free up front. You go to any college campus, and the way that they're listening to music is they're firing up YouTube and typing in each song at a party.
What's wrong with that, right? You get the video and the music, and it's free.
Right, but you can't do playlists easily with that, and it's just not a very good experience. So Spotify is free, and it's a better experience, which is why it's taken off massively in Europe, and I think it has a pretty good chance to take off here.
We got the chat room's great. They're saying it's got a good beat. You can dance to it. It's got fins. It's
it's got a unicorn.
It's got a unicorn. I mean, there's all sorts of reasons to like it, but it's funny. It's because we can't get it in the States and Canada that we're so excited about it. Is that it? Maybe. People in Europe love it.
It's the tech world always talks about it. I'm wondering what the regular Joes are, because a lot of them are using Last.fm or Pandora. Are they going to be jumping on to Spotify when their friends show it to them?
I think there's a little bit of a backlash. Okay, wait a minute. I got it. This is from one of our viewers, the new OS 10 Lion.
At least they didn't put Scoble.
That's good.
Now, yes, that's your assignment. Put Scoble in there, and then. So it's a picture. It's the lion box with a picture of a lion, but instead of a lion face, it's got a key.
I smell a new meme.
Smells like new meme in here.
I don't know. For me, for these music services, I'm more interested in Turntable.
Turntable.fm is amazing. Just got $7.5 million, $37 million valuation. Turntable FM's cool.
Legal about it at the moment.
Yeah.
It's not legal.
No, they don't have any license agreements or anything. They
have venture capital.
They're going to have a long road ahead of them. I mean, Spotify has been negotiating to get to the U.S. for over a year and a half. And they've had to sell people on their business model, sell all the record labels, put money up front in order to get the agreement signed. Turntable is cool, but I would be curious about how long it lasts.
Where does Turntable get its music from anyway? Do they?
Upload a song?
Oh no, but you can also they also have songs in the system.
I think it's from what people have uploaded.
Is it from user upload? You think?
I think so, but I don't know.
The deal, if you haven't used it, is there's 5 turntables. The first 5 people who jump on the turntable get to choose the songs one after the other. There's chat. Somebody told me that no matter what, it all ends up being dubstep. I don't know if that's true, but
the thing I like about it is
I believe they have an agreement with one publisher to get a small catalog, but they don't have any of the label agreements, any of the major publishing agreements. So the legality is very gray, if not black.
I think it's all about this meter where you can say this song is lame or awesome, lame or awesome.
Well, that gives DJs points.
Right.
And then
so this guy's got 868
DJs.
points. I mean, he's...
Yeah.
It's actual social music.
Yeah.
It's actual social experience for music.
Now, I have to think there's a chance for this to monetize, because look what happens when you hover over the title. You can add song to Amazon, iTunes, Last.fm, Spotify, or RDO. So you can, I could buy this song, I presume, if I click that link. I think that, I don't know, shouldn't the record industry embrace this as a great way to discover a music discovery service?
If you're using music in the cloud that you uploaded, and you are and you want to share it socially, I think it might be really interesting that to see somebody like Google or even Apple do something like this. I mean, you could do this.
They've already got the music, right? Because,
they have the music. Amazon could do it too. And while Amazon and Google don't have the licensing agreements, as when they started their locker services, they didn't get those deals nailed down, but they certainly have a better relationship with the music business. And Apple has the best relationship with the music business. And although they have punted badly with Ping, it'd be interesting to see what if they did something like this with Ping, if they turned it into a DJ service.
Yeah.
Well, you could only listen to 60 seconds of every song then.
You know what? That's all the kids want anyway.
Now.
I watch my son listen to music, and he changes it every 10, 30 seconds.
No attention spans.
The kids today, no attention span.
On Pandora, can you share your radio station?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Pandora is kind of wearing out its welcome. There's so much repeats on it, and it seems like the playlist wanders. I have a Frank Sinatra playlist, and all of a sudden I'll be hearing 50 Cent. And I don't. It's like, what happened?
I actually have an XM streaming account.
XM's cool.
I like the human element, and I like the variety of stations.
I was using Mog,
actually changed
but
things.
the reason I went back to Rdio is because I can do this. I can press the search on my Android phone, play Bob Dylan Forever Young, and then even though it's not on here, it will find it and play it on Rdio.
That is cool.
I mean,
nice.
That's cool, right?
Yes.
The reason that Pandora has reached such a much more massive audience than those services, and the reason that Turntable FM is growing at a very high rate, and the reason I think that Spotify is going to do very well is because they all offer compelling services for free. And that's how people start telling other people about them. The social features, you can actually use them because odds are that other people will have access to it, and Spotify is going to have a very close relationship with Facebook.
Well, that was it. What we thought we'd be part of this awesome announcement is that they do Spotify. They didn't. And then I'm hearing a rumor, maybe encouraged by the Rdio people, that it's not Spotify, that it's Rdio. So it's Spotify.
Yeah, they have been working together.
Not Rdio, not somebody else.
I wouldn't be surprised if Rdio is part of the music service as well. I mean, Facebook has, their position is that they want to encourage as many music services, and if they do it for movies, as many different video services as possible. They don't want to just partner up with one, from what I hear.
It's the standard Facebook model. Facebook's a platform.
Right.
They don't like to just choose one and make them the
right.
one. Yeah.
But that's huge. I mean, that's another thing that Facebook already, we know, is sticky. People spend hours sitting in Facebook. This would just be even more hours sitting listening to music in Facebook.
Turn up the Facebook.
Facebook, I think, has a... forget Spotify, Rdio. That's who's got the play here is Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So what are they waiting for? Why haven't we seen... Mark, sounds like you have inside knowledge, Mark.
I don't think Facebook wants to do any of the record label agreements.
They don't want to get sued.
Well, they don't want to get sued. They don't want to spend all the resources in the year talking to the record labels going to New York every week.
I'm not saying they should do it themselves. I'm just saying, why haven't they launched one of these guys?
Well, I think they'll probably partner up with a number of them and make Facebook the hub for social music. And I think Spotify probably has a better chance than Rdio or Mog for being the most listened, or iTunes for that matter, being the most listened to service on there, just because, right. Yeah, that's a good point.
So the one we know it won't be is Apple.
It's going to come in the next few weeks. Facebook calls this its launching season, so you're going to see the music service come in the next, I think, couple weeks. And they had references to the music service in the code for the Skype app that you download. And so it has a little something called Facebook Vibe. So it's probably a system to download your music into the system.
Social music is clearly the next thing. You look at Turntable FM and you see how powerful that is. I think Rdio does a pretty good job. I follow people and so forth. But Facebook could just clobber this out of the park. And you're right. They don't have to do any deals at all, Mark. They just have to pick a partner or two or three or four.
To a certain extent, they already have, the ideal deal maker in Sean Parker, who's part of Spotify, as well as
Napster.
Warner.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they have it in already for at least one major music label and a music sharing service.
Well, the label guys I've talked to say one of the reasons that they've, waited so long to work with Spotify, of many reasons. They've, the labels thought they had audacious terms, and they wanted way too much from something that, might hinder the label business model. But Sean Parker is involved, Napster. Daniel Ek, the CEO of Spotify, was also the CEO of some BitTorrenting software company. So, I mean, these were the guys that were just
that's so funny
bringing down the music industry.
Pirates are the music industry now.
Yeah,
that's really interesting. Hulu tops 1 million users. That's interesting. A lot of people using Hulu. So at this, Mark Zuckerberg said this is the launching season. He really did imply that he was going to have a bunch more announcements. This is just the beginning. He also said, I thought this was interesting, he had admitted to the fact, yes, we do have 750 million users, which had been speculated by some, but he confirmed that. But he said it's no longer about users. We've reached critical mass. Now it's about what do you do with those users? What do you invent? How do you innovate around them?
Well, part of the reason he says that because he knows that the growth is going to have to slow down because there's just not enough people to fuel this growth. But he does make a very good point. He's saying like the next 5 years, they built this social layer across the world, and now for the next 5 years they're going to make everything else social using the social layer. So make music social, make video social, make all these different other aspects social, and create applications that can harness the network that they built.
Look at this this graph from CNET's Crave blog, actually, via display search. The growth of, what do you think that growth is? Pretty good, isn't it? That is the growth of internet-connected television sets. They're predicting 500 million, 500 million internet-connected television sets by 2015. That's pretty good. And by the way, you can watch us on your internet-connected television set. It's good news for me.
It's internet connected TV every single year at CES. It's like can we add into the TV?
25 this year alone. 25% of all flat panel sets come with some form of internet capability. By 2015, it'll be 47%.
Although the interfaces on them are still not very good.
Yeah.
They're clunky and they don't work reliably. I've got a relatively new Samsung, and it's just, you know, it's kind of frustrating to have to go through it even for me. And I know what I'm doing. I can't imagine my parents trying to figure that out.
Are they counting Apple TV?
That's TV sets.
TV sets. That
No,
are
actually
built-in integrated.
Oh, okay.
Not including Roku, Apple, Google, all the other boxes
Xbox,
out
yeah.
there.
Okay.
I think it's still my advice to get a box because you better interfaces, right?
The
Well, you can
interface
always
is
get a
much
box
better.
after the fact.
Yeah, right. And you can upgrade the box. It's not your TV.
I think one
the
of the
reason-
best is Roku.
I love Roku. We all agree.
Roku is simple. It's easy to use. It is reliable. It works well, and it doesn't have its own fee like Apple TV does. I mean, at least you need to pay iTunes, you know, fealty for each component. But I really like Roku. I think it's one of the best values out there.
What do you use, Mark?
I use a
YouTube.
PS3.
I know you watch YouTube.
YouTube, yeah.
It's all on YouTube.
PS3 for Netflix and local videos.
PS3 is a good choice.
Except when it's taken down, hacked.
Yeah.
Except for that. Did you see Wills and Kate play with a touchpad? Now that was cool. That was good news for HP. They got the Wills and Kate, the
Future King.
Future King, or whatever the hell he is. Is he the Future King?
He is the Future
He
King.
is.
The
He's
Future
excellent.
King? She's so
He's
beautiful.
too
Who's
aligned.
looking at the touchpad? Like, I mean, she's like just shines out of that picture. Where are they? What are they doing? I don't care. So they played with.
They're in LA now, right?
Yeah.
Beverly Hills media executives.
A lot of the Hollywood players are paying a lot of money just to get some FaceTime with them.
Sure. The Duke
can
and
imagine.
Duchess.
They just spent 8 days in Canada.
Yes. How was that? Was that good for you?
It was awesome. Awesome.
They're technically going to be the future king and queen of Canada.
Exactly. So.
There's
pay
the title
attention.
to aspire to.
Yes.
I would like to be the king of Canada, please. You did a story, speaking of the UK, you did a story about this News of the World hacking. Oh, my God. So, I think it's been followed so heavily in London and in England and even in Europe, but we only are just now kind of paying attention in the U.S. Give us a quick summary of what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that's been going on for a very long time, for years, where the News of the World reporters, this giant publication, this tabloid that's been going for 130 some odd years.
And by the way, powered Rupert Murdoch's fortune.
That's right. Yeah,
let's not forget.
A very powerful publication in Britain was essentially doing phone hacking in order to get a lot of their scoops. They would,
without the physical phone, what were they doing?
they haven't come out and said exactly what was going on, but a lot of people believe, a lot of experts say that they were using something called pretexting, which is illegal in the U.S. Fairly recently, and many countries, where you call up a phone company and pretend to be the person on the account, say like, oh, I forgot my voicemail password, can you help me reset it? And they ask you a few security questions. If it's a celebrity, if it's someone in the royal family, or you know, they were believed to have hacked into all kinds of celebrities.
So they were basically using social engineering to get into people's voicemail.
Right.
Well, that's slimy.
It is slimy, and you know, there's now allegations that they were breaking into family members of Iraqi soldiers, or people who were stationed in Iraq in combat, and people who had died in Iraq. So yeah, there was. It sounds like a lot of slimy business. But the story that I did was, you know, jumping off of that, like, this is a relatively primitive form of phone hacking, but what other kind of hacking is possible with, you know, smartphones now that they're growing?
Big. I can't believe that we haven't had just widespread attacks on smartphones. This thing is so valuable. Everything's on here. We somebody told me, was it Dvorak, told me that in New York City, you know, if you're a cabbie and somebody leaves a phone in your cab, you know, you can make like $100. You just drive up. They know where to go to the corner, and they say, here's the phone. You make $150 if you pulled the battery. Because that way, it's not the phone, it's the data on the phone. That way, the phone can't be erased ahead of time. So, I mean, I'm just waiting for the big attack on the smartphones. I don't know why we haven't seen them, and it can't be that hard.
I mean, a lot of them have come within the last couple of years just by standard phishing attacks. You know, sending a link through a text message to a page that asks you to put in your phone account information or banking information, and those have been more lucrative than ones that are trying to steal your phone book, for example, just because if they get you to call a number or send a text to a certain number, they can charge it directly to your phone bill and make a killing.
Tons of money, $100 a pop or more. All right, let me take a quick break. We got a great panel here, and I just want to thank them for being here. Ben Parr and Ray Slakinski visiting us from Canada.
Pleasure.
Mark Milian is here. You know, you're going to have the King of Canada is going to someday soon. It'll be named Will. King Will.
Yay.
Dwight Silverman here. Actually, as long as we're talking about Canada, we've got a great Canadian product to flog right now. You know about FreshBooks?
I do.
Who doesn't? They're a Toronto company.
They are.
Do you know them?
Yes, I do.
You use them, Ben?
Yeah, like I did that when I was consulting long ago.
Yeah. That's how I found out about them when I was up in Toronto. Amber MacArthur told me about them.
I met Mike a few times at a few parties. And
they're really nice guys. And boy, what a great system. So if you are a freelancer and you have to send out invoices, you know what a pain in the butt it is. I hate at the end of every month. It's like, I don't want to invoice. Your wife does the invoicing, doesn't she, Ray?
No.
No? You do it?
No.
You're an employee now. You don't have to do it anymore. Yeah, I don't have to. That's one way to solve it. The other way is to go to freshbooks.com, focus on your work, not your paperwork. FreshBooks is so awesome. You upload your logo. They create these great-looking professional invoices, which you email to your client. The invoice has a button that says, would you like to pay now? Via credit card, PayPal, authorized.net. It is, I mean, you get paid faster. You're more likely to get paid because of that. You can easily create invoices that are automatic, payment that's automatic, even if your client agrees to that. Follow-up is very straightforward. You could say every 30, 60, and 90 days, maybe make sure if I don't get paid, we get a follow-up. It just couldn't be slicker. Even if you do time and hours, they've got this great iPhone app or a web-based app that you can just track your hours and then put it right into the invoice. Boy, I just love this system. It's free for the first 3. That's the other thing that's great about it. If you have 3 or fewer clients, it won't cost you a penny. Just go to freshbooks.com. Over 2 million people have sent and paid invoices via FreshBooks since it started in 2004. And if you decide you want to use it and you have more than 3 clients, $20 a month for 25 clients, $30 a month for unlimited clients. It's a really great deal. Now, go to freshbooks.com, sign up for that free account right now, and don't forget to mention you heard it on TWiT, because everybody who enters this week is going to be in a drawing for a birthday cake doesn't even have to be your birthday.
It's somebody's birthday.
They're really, it's funny. I don't know if, who's your friend?
Mike?
Yeah, Mike. I don't know if it's Mike, but somebody there is
Yeah.
like really focused on the birthday cake. It's like, make sure you mention the birthday cake because it's really important.
It's weird.
Is it that people want a birthday cake so badly
It must be.
that they will go to freshbooks.com and sign
Well,
up?
typically you only get one a year, so this is like an
This
extra
is a
bonus
freebie.
one.
I'm not guaranteeing the birthday cake, but you have a pretty good shot at it. We got one here. It's great from Caroline's. Freshbooks.com makes invoicing painless. You're going to love it. Give it a try today, and we thank them for their support. Thank you, Mike.
It's a company that truly embraced being quirky, which is one of the Zappos models.
Yeah, they're great, and they were one of the first Web 2.0 companies. Really, I mean,
Yeah.
I remember
been
Amber
around.
showing to me. I went, "Ooh, this is great. This is beautiful. Well done." They've gotten big since then. Let's see. Tech experts exit White House. I didn't even know they were there. They chased them out. Who left the White House? Let's see. Oh, well, Vivek Kundra. Was he the CTO, CIO?
Yeah, he was the chief technical officer of the United States.
He took a real job.
He did. Well, I think they all got frustrated with kind of, the glacial pace of government. Government just doesn't move fast, and these guys are used to, they're used to Silicon Valley paces, and they weren't getting it.
The Office of Science and Technology Policy, Director John P. Holdren, Andrew McLaughlin, Chief Technology Officer in charge of Internet Policy, Beth Nofek, Deputy Chief Technology Officer for Open Government. But it's also that the campaign is coming. I mean, I have to say this happens normally at the beginning of the next campaign season. You start with new people. You're from Canada, but it's like that in Canada.
We watch it.
You watch. You follow.
We watch.
You follow.
I actually care more about U.S. politics than I am. Sorry to admit.
Is it still Ben Harper?
Yeah. No, not Ben. I forget his name. Steven.
Ben Harper is a
Ben
singer.
Harper. He has
I
He's
love
got a
his
great
records.
band. He's got
Prime Minister Ben Harper.
Now, that
would be awesome. I would vote for him. But yeah,
Stephen Harper. Yes. See, I follow.
Who also plays music.
See, he's also a musician.
An avid Beatles fan.
Well, you gotta like that.
Yeah, Scottish.
They do that to pretend they're human.
Sure, Apple.
Politicians do that. Oh yes, I
Bill
am
Clinton
a
a
Beatles
saxophone.
fan. I play the saxophone. I'm a human, just like you. What else is there to talk about? South Korea to dump textbooks for tablets. They're going to require all elementary textbooks to be available in electronic form by the year 2014. The entire childhood education curriculum will be taught through computers, tablets, and other handheld computing devices by 2015. Wow.
That'll save a lot of trees.
Wow.
Good news for Samsung, which will probably be the choice supplier.
They're a Korean company. How many? I don't know how many kids that is, but that's. I think it's good news in general, don't you? Notre Dame did University of Notre Dame did a research project in which they had students use iPads instead of textbooks for 7 weeks. Apparently was quite a success. I always worry a little bit with the kids with an iPad. They're going to end up playing We Rule instead of reading the books. But apparently, university students anyway desired the textbooks on digital form.
You can put the notes in and everything. You can share the notes with your friends.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, they got the iPad at no cost. No wonder. No wonder. University students pick iPads over textbooks because they're free. Well, that's a flawed study.
Were the books free or just the iPad?
No, they get a free iPad.
Free.
God.
You still pay a lot for those books, though, even though they're in digital form.
Yeah,
Well, I know,
think
that's
it does
annoying.
Save in the long term, you have one iPad for 4 years instead of buying like.
You know where the disadvantage is? You can't, and by the way, this is why I think textbook companies are kind of behind this. There's a huge resale market for textbooks. You can get most of that money back. That must cut into their sales terribly. So there's no resale value at all in an electronic textbook.
Right.
So I suspect that some of this is greed on the part of textbook manufacturers.
Yeah, I've got a daughter in college, and was kind of amazed at the price of online textbooks, digital textbooks, and how expensive they are.
They're not any cheaper, are they?
And then you can't sell them back.
Right.
I mean, college is a hotbed for piracy. So if anyone will figure out how to crack the ebook protection, for
Wait a
those,
minute.
it'll be
What?
at schools?
No.
Never.
What? Did you? What?
But then you'll get 6
Well,
warnings.
Six strikes.
That's why,
Six strikes.
you'll get 6 warnings, 6 alerts.
Don't you? It's so funny because college costs so damn much. I don't even know how you even notice the price of a textbook and the bigger overall bill. Oh my God.
You weep at every line, Leo.
Every freaking line.
Every time you pay back that student loan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you still paying your student loans?
No, I paid mine off not very long after. I worked through college.
Good man. That's because that's got to kill people.
I skipped the step.
You didn't even go to college.
I did 6 months, and then I came out to Palo Alto for 6, 7 months, and then
I think if you're going to
work.
work in the tech industry, I'm not sure a 4-year college is really the right way to go.
That's Peter Thiel's philosophy. I mean, he's paying
That's right.
college kids to,
$100,000 not to go.
Yeah.
So next week we're going to go to Comic-Con. Are you fans of the comic book?
I am.
Genre? We're going to send Tom Merritt and Sarah Lane down there. When is that? Friday? No, Saturday.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday.
Friday and Saturday of next week. Make sure you tune in for that coverage. That's not next week. That's a week. That's 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks.
I think of next week as the week.
Eileen is now explaining to me why next week is 2 weeks from now. This week is this week.
She's got
Next
you
Depends on when the
there.
end of the week is.
Sunday.
It's compression, Leo. It's compression.
Did you
The
know
codec.
that there's quite a bit of piracy in colleges these days?
I've never. No.
Wow.
Shocking. I've learned something today. And that this week is not next week. But next week is not this week. Ben Parr, thank you for being here. Mashable.com is the place to read Ben's fantastic writing. And good job on asking Zuck the question. He danced well.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. I've danced with a man who danced with a girl who
Good
danced
job
with
on
the Prince
popping Zuck
of
the
Wales.
question.
Mark Milian, what?
Good job on popping Zuck the question.
Yes.
After the through the woods.
All I needed is the ring.
He popped the Zuck question. Mark Milian, CNN.com. Look for him on the website. He's at Mark Milian on the Twitter. What are you on the Twitter? I like to say the Twitter. Every week I get an email from somebody who says, it's not the Twitter, it's Twitter! What is your name on the Twitter, Ben Parr?
At Ben Parr.
At Ben Parr. Mark Milian is at Mark Milian. Ray Slakinski.
Ray S.
Oh, yeah, you got a
Don't
good one.
confuse me with
Ooh,
the baseball
yeah,
team.
you got a good one.
Ray S. on the Twitter. He's also at Slakinski.com.
Yep.
You looked at me funny, like,
No,
really?
I had to remember. Did I own that one?
Yes, you own that one.
Yes, I own that one.
That's the easy one.
Yeah.
And of course, blogs. Here's a URL for you. Blog.
Singular.
Blog.cron.com/techblog.
Yeah, and
Dwight
I'm
Silverman.
at D Silverman. I got a good one too.
He's D.
So
Silverman,
I got in
and
early.
he does a great show
on the Twitter.
On the Twitter, he does a great show on the radio. On
Yeah,
on the
Technology
Pacifica.
Bites every Wednesday
Is that on
night,
the FM or the
8
AM?
p.m.
It's on the FM. 8 p.m.
8 p.m. on kpft.org, or if you're lucky enough to be in Houston, 90.1 FM.
So you see, it's the internet. Why can't it be the Twitter?
And the radio.
And the radio. Why can't it be the Google? I ask you, my friends. I ask you. If you haven't yet purchased a brick, I encourage you to do so. We are running out of time to get the bricks. I think our first shipment of bricks, they won't be here for the 24th. I think they come early August. So what you do is you go to bricks.twit.tv. There are the 8x4 bricks, which have 15 characters, 2 lines each. 2 lines of 15 characters each. So you get your name for a slight increase amount of money, all of which goes to help us build the studio. You can get your logo on there. And you can also get a commemorative brick if you decide you'd like to have a brick of your own in your own home. That wall of honor, I can't tell you, it's going to look so cool. It's going to look so cool. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. And we have one more TWiT in the old studio, and then we move on the 24th. By the way, all the tickets are gone for opening day. In fact, I think have we given out all the seats for the first week? I think we have. If you would like to come, email my sister. She'll tell you. eva@twit.tv. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time. Oh, there's Eileen in the background. Look. Another TWiT is in the can.
It's amazing.